It is the fourth most abundant mineral in the body. Magnesium has more research benefits than any other nutrient, more studies to back up its claims, and I believe it has thousands of studies to date.
Empowering you organically, delivering content you trust with results you love.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Empowering You Organically. I'm your host, Jonathan Hunsaker, joined by my co-host, Terry Ann Trevenin.
Hey everyone.
So today we are talking about a very, very important subject. We're going to talk about magnesium. And the reason we're going to talk about it is, did you know that 75% of the US population is deficient in magnesium? Being deficient in magnesium causes a whole plethora of issues in your body, in your psyche. So we really just wanted to dedicate a whole podcast talking about magnesium, talking about how you can get more magnesium in your diet. And we're also going to talk about and introduce a brand new product of ours called Magnesium 7 that I think you're going to find fascinating. So first and foremost, let's just talk really quickly about magnesium. It is the fourth most abundant mineral in the body. Magnesium has more research benefits than any other nutrient, more studies to back up its claims, and I believe it has thousands of studies to date. So magnesium, this is not just some, I saw a meme on this on Facebook that we need magnesium. This is not just somebody making up some things. The science behind magnesium and the importance of magnesium is some of the strongest that's out there. And it's why it's so important to have it in our bodies.
Absolutely. Magnesium is required for over 600 important bodily processes. And even if you're eating all your leafy green vegetables, raw nuts and seeds that contain magnesium, which is super important for preventing disease and painful health conditions, even if you're eating as much of it as you can, between poor soil quality that lacks the minerals that we need in our body and absorption, not being easily absorbed into the body, you need to supplement with magnesium to get the normal levels of magnesium that your body needs. I think that so many people don't understand how their body works and exactly what they need. We know we need to eat good nutrition, but when we talk about all these things, we're starting to learn just what our body needs. Our bodies are a machine. And when it comes to magnesium, over 600 important bodily processes. Think about that for a minute. Your body's just going in all these different directions, doing all these different things all at the same time. 600 different processes for magnesium. And if you're deficient, think about how those 600 processes in your body are impacted.
Absolutely. Some of the biggest ones, if you're deficient in magnesium, is heart disease, high blood pressure, mood disorders, poor sleep quality, feeling stressed out, lack of energy, low bone mass, sore muscles, foot and leg cramps. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Migraines, headaches, slow metabolism, asthma, insulin resistance, all sorts of them. And I'm not going to focus on necessarily one more than the other, but I will talk about one of the biggest benefits to supplementing with a good magnesium. And I'm not just saying a good magnesium that you normally find on the market, because there aren't any others compared to what we created, but a magnesium, having all different forms of magnesium in your diet and how important that is. But the biggest thing that it's going to help with is stress and anxiety. And now more than ever, I think that the entire world is under a lot of stress, whether that's from fears around the pandemic or fears around the virus, or stress because your town is locked down or you're having to stay inside, stress about where's, the next paycheck coming from, where's the next meal coming from, how am I going to teach my kids, they're home from school. Like there's now more than ever, if it wasn't crazy 2 years ago, which I think the stress levels were already at their peak with the way that we live our lives, now they're even higher. And what happens is when you're stressed out like that, your adrenals get maxed out. And now it's even harder to just be able to process and manage life. And one of the best things that you can do is get more magnesium in your diet to be able to manage that stress, to manage that anxiety, and ultimately to help restore your adrenals to healthy levels, which will allow you to, again, just be calmer, be more level-headed, be in a better mood, and be able to really handle life stresses a lot easier.
Absolutely. One of the other things that's really interesting as we become more aware of the benefits and the impact magnesium has on our body and the dangers of being deficient in it is all the different types of magnesium and exactly what they can do for your body. And sometimes when we're looking at things that we can supplement with, there's just one version of that naturally growing ingredient or that naturally occurring vitamin or nutrient that our body needs. But with magnesium, we have different types of magnesium, and all of them can do different things for your body.
Well, and that's just it. I think most of the time when we think about magnesium, right, and I grab some because I have some in my cabinet, and that's, just grabbing that main one style of magnesium that's used to kind of calm you down, take a little bit at night. But you're missing out on all of the other forms of magnesium and all of the other benefits. And when I tell you there's nothing else like this on the market, there really isn't when it comes to getting the full spectrum of magnesium that your body needs to be able to thrive. Again, you can eat organic, you can eat all the leafy greens, you can do all of that, but our soil quality is just garbage now, especially here in the States. The amount of nutrients that's in our food has gone down tremendously. There's just certain things you have to supplement with, and magnesium is one of those things. If you're not taking some sort of magnesium supplement, and even if you are, you got to make sure that you're getting enough of it, and really what are all of the different types of magnesium. So should we talk about that? Should we talk about all the different types of magnesium, kind of what they do, how they can help you?
Absolutely. So we'll talk with magnesium chelate, which is chelated forms of magnesium that provide absorbency in comparison to non-chelated magnesium. Remember, we talked about absorption being an issue with magnesium, right? And so when we're talking about these, we're really looking at sources of magnesium that have better absorption and really allow your body to take on that magnesium and to really benefit from it. Magnesium chelate is amazing for muscle recovery. So if you're someone who loves to work out, who loves to lift, who loves to run, who loves to keep your body strong and healthy, chances are that you have sore muscles. Sometimes we have sore muscles from back and aches in our back pain and aches in our body as we age. And magnesium can be something that we can supplement with to really help with muscle recovery. If we strain something, if we've injured something, if we're lifting, maybe if we're just aching from old age and doing too much, which can happen, magnesium chelate is an amazing thing that we can add in to our supplemental routine to benefit our body with muscle recovery.
Yeah, I mean, magnesium, I think we often compartmentalize, or we just think magnesium is good for this one thing. At least that's how it was for me. And I know that I would associate magnesium kind of with the leg cramps or with the soreness or things like that. And you hear about magnesium. I mean, I do for sure doing a lot of weight training. And it's just amazing that as we dove deeper into the subject, how many other forms of magnesium there are and all of the other benefits. So do you want to talk about the next one that we have?
Yeah, before we go on to that, something that I want to point out, you're going to hear us talk a lot about stress today when it comes to magnesium. And just going back to muscle recovery for a second, when our muscles need help with recovery, they're hurting, they're aching, maybe we've injured something. It's interesting to think about how magnesium is really critical for stressors when it comes to our health and our body. Muscle recovery is a form of stress that's happened to your body and you're helping it to recover. And I think this is a theme you're going to hear as we talk more and more about magnesium, but I wanted to point that out. Muscle recovery comes from stress to the muscles, and magnesium can help with that stress and recovery to get your muscles back to optimal function. So the next form of magnesium is magnesium glycinate. And this is something that you can supplement with when it comes to sleep and anxiety and brain health. It can help support better sleep for your body, and it can also support your anxiety levels. You know, that's something I think a lot of us are dealing with right now in the world is stress and anxiety. Think about that for a minute too. It benefits you when it comes to healthier sleep, but it's also reducing those stress levels in your body, and it helps you to come down off of that stress. It can really support your body in healthy stress management. And one other thing that comes with magnesium glycinate is brain health. Brain health is something that is becoming more and more talked about and discussed as we see the rise of Alzheimer's and dementia. being deficient in magnesium can actually be one of the things that can lead to poor brain health. This is something I've been studying more and more about recently, conversations I've been having with people about brain health and how we come to have poor brain health. But this is a part of our body. This is a part of our health. This is a part of the entire function of how we manage our body every single day. Brain health is so important to our overall health. Magnesium glycinate is something that you can take to support better brain health, which I think is so important.
Yeah, and you may also see it listed as diglycinate as well. So magnesium glycinate, magnesium diglycinate, it's the same thing. So don't worry if you're seeing it listed two different ways, but this is the number one form of magnesium for anxiety. There's studies that show that this calms anxiety. So the magnesium glycinate, diglycinate, absolutely, if you're looking for stress relief, if you're looking for anxiety relief, this is by far the best one. And I will also suggest, and I'll talk about this more a little bit later, but taking it on an empty stomach, especially before an event or something that may have you a little bit more anxious, a little bit more nervous, you will find will ultimately calm you down in about 30 minutes time. But this is the form of magnesium that is phenomenal for anxiety and has all the studies to back it up.
Absolutely. The next one we're going to talk about is magnesium aspartate. It is a form of magnesium that is bonded to aspartic acid, a non-essential amino acid found in protein-rich foods such as egg and meat. Often we talk about these supplements you're supposed to take. These are actually naturally occurring things that happen in food we eat every day, but we may not be getting enough of it, right? We know we're not getting enough of it. Aspartic acid is often used by bodybuilders to enhance athletic performance, recovery, and muscle strength. However, magnesium aspartate is actually proven to support better mood, help with anxiety and depression. Here we have, again, another form of magnesium that can really help boost those emotional levels to have you in a better, happier, healthier state emotionally.
Yeah, and the bioavailability of magnesium aspartate is higher than other forms of magnesium as well. It's why it's used in a lot of studies. And it's really, again, this is the big misconception out there is that, if I just take a magnesium supplement, that I'll be fine. But if you're not getting all the different forms of magnesium in your magnesium supplement, you're missing out on all of the different benefits that you can have. And again, the magnesium aspartate, it's great for the mood, anxiety, depression, muscle recovery. We're going to sound like broken records here, but these different forms of magnesium touch different parts of our body. And like we talked about earlier in the podcast, it affects 600 different functions in our body. So when you hear it and you're like, oh, well, I thought that other kind of magnesium was good for this. Yes, it's going to affect different places. The top three, really, in my opinion, that magnesium and getting the full spectrum magnesium is going to affect is stress, anxiety, and sleep. So if any one of those are a big issue for you, this is what you need to be paying the most attention to.
Absolutely. So our next one is magnesium malate. And I want to stay on this one for a second because there's a couple different things around this one that I think are really important. So magnesium malate is a combination of essential magnesium and malic acid, an organic substance made by all living things. I found this really interesting. Malic acid is what gives fruit such as green apples, cranberries, and citrus their tart taste. So if you're wondering where that comes from, you're like, how does magnesium play into what I'm eating every day? There's one way you can really see it in your daily nutrition. It is considered one of the most bioavailable forms of magnesium. We're just hitting this nail on the head over and over and over again. But it's also magnesium malate is able to remain active in the blood serum longer than other forms of magnesium. There's two sides to malate that I think are really important to touch on. The first is it supports and improves ATP at a cellular level, which improves energy and helps reduce pain. I don't know about you, but I could always use more energy in my life. I want to feel like a little kid again and have more energy. But also, magnesium malate is probably most important for brain and nervous health because it's able to work quickly and is more long lasting. Magnesium malate is considered one of the most beneficial forms for brain and nervous system health and one of the best magnesium supplements for headache, including migraine. So if that's something that you're experiencing, this would be a great thing to supplement with to try and diminish those headaches that you may be having.
Absolutely. Some of the quote unquote side effects is it's also going to help with depression, sleep, chronic pain, fatigue. And it's interesting when we talk about fatigue, we talk about how magnesium really helps our body, and it also helps with the adrenals. Like, have you ever noticed that at some point, if you start drinking coffee, or if you've had too much coffee, or you're a high consumer of coffee or caffeine, you actually start getting to the point where it almost gets jittery, almost to where you may not even be able to have coffee on a daily basis. That's because your adrenals, your body is fatigued, things are out of balance. Interestingly enough, getting your body back in balance and getting all of these different forms of magnesium can allow you to consume caffeine again at a healthy level and get the mental benefits from caffeine and not get that adrenal fatigue, that stressed out, that freaked out, the I can't do all of this. Now, I'm not out here saying, hey, go drink a bunch of Red Bulls and drink a lot of caffeine, but I am saying that the overstressed society that we live in, and our adrenals being blown out, and all of these different things can all be repaired, I'll say, with these different forms of magnesium in your diet.
I just want to point out that I love that you said the side effects of taking magnesium. Like, mainstream medicine, the side effects are all these negative things, but I kind of love that spin on like side effects of good nutrition. Happy side effects, not bad side effects. I don't know. I just was stuck on that after you said that. I don't think I heard anything you said after that, because I was going down this rabbit hole of like, that's great. I love that. All right. Our next magnesium is magnesium orotate. Is the type of magnesium salt that comes from orotic acid and is easily absorbed into the cells. Again, we're back on this absorption conversation. Absorption is so important. Some studies around magnesium orotate prove that it's especially beneficial for the heart and exercise performance. Heart health, critical for all of us. And this is something that can really benefit your heart health. But if you're someone who works out, who is someone who's doing weightlifting, running, training, any type of sport, this can really help you with your exercise performance.
It really helps with the cardiovascular side of it as well. And it's important. So, and we have a study here. It says another study published in the journal Cardiovascular Drugs Therapy reported that steady supplementation with magnesium orotate helped improve function in ventricular function, as well as exercise tolerance, specifically in patients with coronary heart disease. And this is, I listed the top three things, but if I got to add a fourth one, it's the heart health that magnesium really helps with. And we see this over and over again. And whether that's well, we're about to see it on the next one, but whether that's dealing with high blood pressure, cardiovascular health, heart health overall, magnesium, I'm going to refer back to it as a magic pill, because when I started taking it several months ago and we were testing different things out, I saw phenomenal results in my life. And our different team members that started taking it and trying it out, it's amazing what getting all the different forms of magnesium will do for you.
Absolutely. Our next magnesium is magnesium taurate. It is one of the best forms of magnesium for easy assimilation into the body. There we go again. Absorption, so important. It is used by the body naturally to transport magnesium ions in and out of cells. So this is a magnesium carrier, if you will, that really helps get magnesium to where it needs to go. And this is something that really helps with high blood pressure, relaxation, and calming the nerves. I said it earlier in the podcast, but I think we could all use a little more of that in our lives right now after the last year that we have all been through. So I think that taking a magnesium, if you're feeling a lot of stress, there are multiple versions of magnesium that we've talked about today that can really improve your emotional health and your stress levels. And I think that's something that all of us can benefit from right now.
Yeah, I mean, the studies that are out here for this are phenomenal. So there's studies that talk about how it can help with high blood pressure. Other studies have found that magnesium taurate can improve heart palpitations and lessen anxiety attacks. It also has the ability to stabilize cell membranes. It can easily pass through the blood-brain barrier for enhanced brain health. This is why you need all the different forms of magnesium to touch on all of these different areas. I just loved when we started going down this rabbit hole. The more information that we found out, and the more areas and all of these places that you can't find out on the market, all of these different kinds of magnesiums, and all the different ways they can affect your body.
Absolutely. Our last magnesium is magnesium citrate. It's a magnesium that's combined with citric acid. It's one of the most popular types of magnesium on the market today. And here we go again, according to the National Institute of Health, is one of the most highly absorbable forms of magnesium in the body. Now, here's the unique thing about magnesium citrate that I don't think we've touched on today yet. Like all forms of magnesium, it's vital for health or heart health, muscles, and bone health. So we have talked about that, but it's also required for RNA and DNA synthesis and for the production of glutathione, which is the master antioxidant. Antioxidants are so important in getting toxins and garbage out of our body and allowing our body to be as healthy as it possibly can by getting rid of those toxins that can bombard our immune system and keep us from being as healthy as we possibly can.
Yeah, and the interesting part with magnesium citrate, I mean, it's great for intestinal health. So if you're having issues with constipation, trouble going, then this can absolutely help get your intestines and your bowel movements back in balance. And it's kind of interesting because I'm going to talk for a second. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because we've gone through the 7 different forms of magnesium. And yes, all 7 of these are in our new Magnesium 7 supplement, hence the name. But you know, one question is going to come up is how do I take Magnesium 7? How much of it should I take? The reason I'm going to touch on this is because it has to do with magnesium citrate and how it affects your intestines and your bowel movements. Is the standard dose is going to be 2 capsules a day, but a lot of us are very deficient. And so one of the ways to kind of find out how much you need to get back in balance, and I'll tell you, this is what I do. There's no diagnosis. I'm not prescribing anything. I'm not giving any medical advice. This is just what I do and what I found works for me and for many others. I personally take 2 at night before bed, about 30 minutes beforehand. That helps me get a good night's rest. I wake up in the morning and I take 1 in the morning. And then usually midday on an empty stomach, I take another one. Now, one of the interesting things with magnesium is you can find out when you've taken too much because you will be hurrying along to the bathroom and it will help clean you out. Not that it's a bad thing, not that it's hurting you, but that can help you get your balance. If you're trying to figure out how much do I take, you can start just a recommended dose and take 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening, be fine. But if you want to get fully optimum, then take some more, you know, like I do 2 at night, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon works for me. When I first started off and I was doing 2 at night and I do 2 in the morning, I found myself running to the bathroom. If I did too much, that's how I really knew how to find my balance. And that just shows you the efficacy of having a supplement like this, especially if it's there to help with constipation and help clear out your bowels. Now, let's talk about just the last thing that's also in Magnesium 7. Well, there's 2 other things, but the one that I'm really going to talk about is we've also added vitamin B6 to the magnesium. Here's why. Studies show that when you combine vitamin B6 with magnesium, it increases the stress reduction by 24%. So think about this. This is really a stress pill. This is an anxiety pill. This is a sleep better pill. This is also a muscle recovery pill. If we can increase a lot of those effects by 24%, why wouldn't we, right? And so it's another level that we get to here at Organix by doing blends and combining things that complement each other and make things more effective and increase the efficacy rather than just giving you the bare minimum like 1 magnesium or even stopping at just 7 magnesiums. Instead, we actually go a step further because we know that if we add B6 as well, then you're going to get 24% more efficacy for stress reduction.
Absolutely. And the other interesting thing too about vitamin B6, we talked about how magnesium impacts, over 600 functions in the body. Well, vitamin B6 not only, as Jonathan mentioned, helps you to take on more of that magnesium into your cells. That's one of the reasons that it's paired together. But vitamin B6 is also essential for over 100 enzyme reactions that are happening with your body in relation to metabolism. We all know that we don't get enough enzymes in our bodies with our current nutrition and the way we eat. Enzymes are what help us to break so many things down in our body and get them to the right places and make sure our body is working and functioning properly. So here we have magnesium that's impacting 600 different functions in the body. We have vitamin B6 that's impacting over 100 enzyme reactions in the body. And here it is helping magnesium to be more easily absorbed into the body. It's why it's so important to have this in the magnesium product.
Absolutely. There's so much more that we could cover on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest that you go check out the show notes, go check out the website. We have all of the research cited there. So go to empoweringyouorganically.com, check out the show notes, check out the resources section, do your own studying, do your own research. And I believe you'll find the same conclusions that we did, that your body needs all of these different forms of magnesium. And then if you feel inspired, and I encourage you, try out our new Magnesium 7. If you're actually listening to this within the first few days of this airing live, we're doing a 20% off discount, just kind of as a introductory offer to get this out to the market. So hopefully you're listening to this within that time frame. You can go to organics.com and take advantage of that discount. Listen, as with everything, we back all of our supplements with a 365-day money-back guarantee. So you can get 1 bottle, 3 bottles, 6 bottles, 12 bottles. And if it's not working for you, just send us back, even if all the bottles are empty, and we'll refund all your money. So it's the only way that I know how to convince you that these are the best supplements on the market. And Magnesium 7 may be the best one that we've ever put out. I honestly feel like this is a magic pill, especially in this day and age with the stress levels that are going on and just the anxiety that people are feeling. And I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done for other team members. I think that you will find this to be a phenomenal addition to your daily diet.
Awesome.
Do you have anything else?
I think we're good. I think we've covered a lot of information today.
Thank you so much. EmpoweringYouOrganically.com to get all the show notes. Make sure you like us, give us a thumbs up on iTunes, on YouTube, wherever you're watching this, and we will see you on the next show. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, everyone.